Yeah, proud of the team. Almost a flawless game until we gave up 49 points in the second half. The only negative I'll say is I want us to get to a point total in our brains, so that we can play harder and have a common goal. We keep giving up 49 points, 50 points in the second half to teams. We starting to get complacent, and that's going to catch up to you at some point. But, overall, collectively, the guys that got minutes out there did a fantastic job. Really proud of the team.
Coach, great win today. Let's talk about the preparation going in today because this was one of your best wins probably since Virginia.
Yeah, the preparation was great because, they beat up on us pretty bad in that game, especially in the second half, like the last 8 minutes. It was a tie game with 2 minutes to go, but it's the things they did to us that kind of embarrassed me when I watched the game afterwards. So we tightened all those things up and came in with a lot of energy on making sure we didn't allow that stuff to happen again, and we did a great job of that.
Hey, Penny, this probably been your best game as a team for first 2 quarters since the A&M game. What can be done to make it go forward, to replicate it?
Well, we just got to keep, just believing in the game plan, keeping the energy high. Every game is different. Every team is different, but the energy has to stay the same. I think that's the main thing, man. Like, we hold them to 29 in the first half. That energy was fantastic, and then come out the second half, 49 points. So we just got to keep trying to. The last two first halves at Temple and today were great. The second halves weren't. So we're just getting complacent. We got to keep the energy high.
Petty, felt like in that first half in the back. For first half, defensive energy intensity was as good as it has been maybe all season. What's finally clicked on that end? Is it human nature and desperation, knowing you guys probably can't lose again, or is it something you said to them? Talk us through that.
I think it's a lot of all of that, a combination of understanding where we are and what the position we put ourselves into, listening more because they've always had the answers to the test, listening more, applying more things, and actually getting better as the season goes on. Again, we're a new team. I keep saying that. New guys, Caleb goes out. We really have a new team now with adding Naquan Tomlin, adding Jordan Brown back, and not having Caleb Mills. We have to kind of reinvent the team. We went bigger instead of smaller, and now we started going back smaller. So at the end of the day, these guys are getting better every day of understanding who we are now and what we need to do. And we're starting to disrupt more as well. We weren't doing that in that 4-game losing streak. We were just kind of going at someone else's pace. We're back to our pace now.
Coach, 12 assists at Tulane a couple weeks ago, 21 today. Did you set like a benchmark for your team, or did you just talk to them about sharing the basketball more, and why do you think that worked well today?
Yeah, we talked about turnovers. In that zone, they do a great job of deflections because they play zone the entire game. And then if you penetrate the zone, then they do a good of what we call raking, like trying to poke the ball out, almost like a fumble in the NFL or whatever. So they do great in those areas. So we talked about how to protect the ball and find guys that are going to be open because in that zone, they're going to leave someone open with the way that they rotate. And we did a better job of that today, but we were prepared to get good looks at the basket today because we knew exactly what we wanted to do.
Have Naquan and Jordan, a lot of bigs on this team. Is this the type of team and performance that you expected to see when you constructed this team earlier, in the offseason?
Yeah, without knowing that we would get Naquan, obviously we wanted to go Malcolm, JB, DeAndre. We just knew DeAndre was going to get the waiver. He didn't get it. So now it became Nick, Malcolm, JB. Then JB leaves. Then Naquan comes. Then it became about Naquan, Nick, Malcolm. JB comes back. Now it's about all of the guys, to be very honest. It's just we feel like we have an advantage in that area. We have to take advantage of it with our front court.
Penny, just for clarity, at the beginning of the game, did you guys open in a matchup zone, or was that like just aggressive switching man-to-man?
That was just aggressive switching man-to-man.
Like, I imagine that's kind of how you envision it, kind of almost looking
Absolutely.
like
Absolutely. That's what we weren't doing during the 4-game losing streak, and pretty much during the 10-game win streak, we weren't at that level. Mm-hmm. I still gave us a higher grade defensively back then than offensively because I was asked that question, and now it's flipped. Defensively we were playing poorly until the last couple of games. We're giving up a lot of points in the second half, but when we have a game under control, up 23, 25 points, that lets you know where you can really be.
Well, I was going to ask you because the difference between this game and some of the previous ones is I know the final margin was 12, but like there was never really a moment where they threatened you, unlike the Temple game. Was there anything you saw out there that these guys did better in terms of not letting Tulane get back in the game?
Yeah, well, they knew where the soft spots were in the zone. They knew how to take advantage of those things. JQ never played Tulane. David Jones never played Tulane. Neither has Jordan Brown and any of those guys. Only Malcolm, Jaden, and Jaquan Walton pretty much. So that zone kind of messes with you a little bit the first time you see it. This time around, they were more prepared. They respected the team more, and were really understanding where the soft spots were in the zone. So whenever they went on a run, we knew that we could get a good look in certain areas, and then we just tightened up on the defensive end as well.
Two things. One is you've talked up until recently about still getting to know each other and all of that. Do you think, if you will, like kind of the light has gone on just in terms of understanding tendencies, where guys want the ball and wants and needs and things like that, playing together? Did the light switch? And then the other thing is, you mentioned Jordan Brown a number of times. How much was this kind of like the scenario that you envisioned when you were weighing, him coming back?
Yeah, for sure. I think just kind of oversaturating the team with a lot of video of us doing great things, us doing bad things, and with them seeing us do bad things, it kind of hits the ego a little bit, like, okay, I have to do better. I think that's what's happened the most. We kind of compiled all of the negative and showed it one day, and it's like, hey, this is where we are. And then we showed some good to say this is where we could be, and then the guys took that challenge. So that's what happened with the defense. And then the second part of that question with Jordan Brown, yeah, this is what I envisioned, him coming in. Malcolm got into foul trouble early, but him and Malcolm coming in together, playing off one another, or even subbing each other and going in and being dominant, throwing the ball inside and just being dominant.
Has David Jones become a better all-around player in your mind recently? It just seems like his facilitating has taken up a notch. Yeah,
I've challenged him on that every single day. And I've shown him tons of film, and then he had to sit in the room with all the negative film. Saw a lot of bad shots, a lot of bad decisions, a lot of turnovers, and that hit home. Again, we want to be real with the guys and let them know where we are, but then we also show them the great stuff. And he came out today, like you've seen the last couple of days, he's not taking bad shots. He's taking the shots that he's supposed to take and making the plays that he's supposed to make. So, and then he's personally taking a challenge of not turning the ball over and getting more people involved.
Was that film session recent or like?
That film session was recent. It was right after we beat Wichita.
Oh, okay.
We got that film.
And then how much time do you spend thinking about the where you guys stand in the big picture from like the postseason and the bracketology? How much time do you spend thinking about that?
I spend enough time on it this year more than others because we started off so hot, and then you just saw the climb, and then you saw the fall. So I'm very conscious of where it is and what's going on, but I do know that we have to continue to win. And there's certain games that are heightened more than others, obviously because of the quads. And we put ourselves in position after losing a tough one to Rice to be in position to go to Texas with a lot of confidence and ready to play.
Coach, kind of going off of what you were just talking about with DJ, he started off the game with 4 points when you all went on that run. Do you feel like that's the best version of this team when the offense is just kind of flowing, not relying on DJ?
Absolutely, because we have so many weapons. And Malcolm didn't get a chance to play as much, but he would have been very dominant as well with his size against that smaller lineup. So, yeah, we need DJ to trust his teammates. He has some guys that can really play. And I think that's what's frustrated some of the guys in the past, that they haven't been allowed to help the team as much as they could. And that just brings frustration. So kudos to DJ for saying, hey, I have to trust my teammates and allow these guys to play. It's going to make it easier for me. They know that he's the guy because he's proven to be that every single night with consistency, but he has to be the guy that also returns it and says, okay, I know you guys can play as well.
Coach, right here. Part of your switch to small ball, one of the lineup changes has been bringing Naquan in to start alongside Nick. What have you seen in practicing on film that you like about that pairing and taking Malcolm to the bench? What does Malcolm bring off the bench for you that you like as well?
Well, it happened by, honestly, coincidence because the game that we had to come back from Wichita, that just so happened to be the group on the floor. And then we were going back to Temple, And Malcolm was like, that group played well. Let Nick go ahead and start going back. Okay, fine. Coming into today, it's kind of the same thing. Let's start this group and see how it goes. But Malcolm's going to be Malcolm. He's a veteran. He's going to come in. He just got into foul trouble today. He was on his way to having a great game. 2 quick fouls, and then goes right back out of the game. We don't need that. Now, if that's going to happen, I need to flip it back because Malcolm is playing at a high level. He's just, in that instance, wasn't in the game against Wichita, and you got to ride the wave of that group. Now we won 3 games in a row with that. It's kind of hard to go, okay, let's go back to this. So hopefully that's not going to bother Malcolm enough to make him come off the bench and start getting into foul trouble. He's a veteran, and we're definitely going to feed him when he comes in. So we're hoping that makes Malcolm come off the bench and go, okay, you guys started. I know I'm coming in within the first 3 minutes anyway.
You have a lot of big opportunities coming up in your next 4, 2 big ones on the road next week. Then it's one of the top teams in the conference in Charlotte. Then after that, it's the first FAU game. How important was it to the team's psyche to have this kind of performance today heading into that stretch?
No, it was very important because we gave one away against South Florida and then had to go to Tulane to UAB. If you let this one go, then you got to go North Texas, SMU. You couldn't do that again. And we understood what was going on today and the magnitude of the game, and we took care of business, and we're playing at a high level right now. So that makes it even better going on these road trips. This reminds me when we were going to VCU, Texas A&M, all these games where we felt like every game we went into, we were going to win. That 4-game losing streak, it just seemed like everything was a struggle, and we just had to wait till the game started to see what was going to happen, no matter what we did. So now it's back to where we were, but even better now because the guys are more committed than they've ever been.
Penny, when y'all lost to South Florida a month ago, you described like chemistry problems and guys not getting along, and the play kind of showed it, like selfish play or whatever. Past 2 games, y'all had 17 assists against Temple and 21 today. Where do things stand off the court with the guys? Are they more together, and how's that process been?
Yeah, I think what they've done is, said, hey, we only have so many games left. Let's grow closer. Let's not grow apart. Whatever's happened up until now, there's nothing we can do about it. But they're starting to hang out. Like I think they had something at JQ's home, like maybe a week ago. They're starting to do things together on the road, be more around each other more, and start talking more about basketball and what's going on because we let an opportunity obviously slip away, losing 4 games in a row, but we've got a grasp on it again. And now being tighter and closer helps us win the game. Instead of having arguments in the huddles, it's talking about what we need to do. When did that turn? Every game. I think it turned the last 8 minutes of the Wichita game. That's when it officially turned.